Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Oaklawn Park on this Saturday. Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's director of simulcasting. We did a separate podcast for the 4 stakes races and the late pick 4 on Saturday at Keeneland. So this one will focus on the 2 graded stakes at Oaklawn Park, headlined by the Arkansas Derby. But we'll start, Jim, with the 7th race, the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap, and got a well-matched group, I think, here. How did you see this one shaking out?
Well, when I went through the first time, I liked Race Day, but I think he's going to be the favorite. So the 1 horse for Pletcher and Velasquez. I'm going to try to beat him. He won the Razorback over a few of these, and he ought to be a great trip because there's no speed to it, just to his outside, so I don't think the 1 hole hurts him very much. I think he sits behind some of the outside horses. Tapiture may go to the lead. Golden Lad might get up there early, but not a lot of speed in the race anyway. So I think the 1 hole doesn't hurt Race Day. I went with Carve in here, and Carve, I picked him in the Razorback, and he didn't run well at all, and I'm just hoping they didn't like the off track. It was really good that day, but he started out sloppy, and he just never got into the race. I don't think Castanon really tried with him that hard when he wasn't up there on the pace, and he just got beat by 8 lengths by Race Day. I'm going to toss that race, and I'm going to say he's going to run back to his 5th season $100,000 stakes race in January when he got a 106 buyer. So I'm going to take Carve on top at a little bit of a price. Use Race Day behind him. Use Golden Lad. Mike Smith rides for Pletcher, and this horse is 2 for 3 at Oaklawn with a 102 buyer last out in February in the Essex. I Wish You Well is also entered at Keeneland. I don't know where he's going to go, but wherever he goes, he's probably in the mix. And then Hard Aces is my other choice. John Sadler takes over for Larry Jones, which is probably an even trade. Sadler's based on the West Coast, and they ran this horse in Cincinnati to handicap and only got beat 6 1/4 to a little horse called Shared Belief. So I think you got to use Hard Aces as well. But I'm going to use Carve, the 4 horse on top. Key underneath, Race Day, the 1, Golden Lad, the 5, the 6, I Wish You Well, and the 7, Hard Aces, with everything else in the trifecta.
Well, I'm using one of the everything else's. I thought Race Day could be vulnerable in here, and so I'm going to try Tapiture. He likes Oaklawn Park. It was dull in his return to the races as a 4-year-old, but he's had 3 works since then, so maybe it was just a gimme race, and now Asmussen has tightened the screws. And I know this is a pretty good horse, and if he can run to his best, he could be in the mix. So I think the price will be right to take a shot for me with Tapiture. And then I'm going to use him in exactas with Race Day, the 1, Carve, the 4, and Golden Lad, the 5. So pretty much most of the same ones that you mentioned. Hard Aces, I took a long look at it as well, and I might throw him in there in a ticket with Tapiture if I go one more deep. The 11th race is the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby at 1 mile and 1/8. It's one of the other Baffert stable stars, American Pharoah. And if he wins impressively, he could vie for favoritism with Dortmund for the Kentucky Derby. He was very impressive margin-wise. Speed figure-wise, it was okay. Nothing to blow your doors off in his prep for this. So I don't think he's as much of a cinch maybe as he might look on paper, but I just couldn't find anybody I liked well enough to pick against him. So I'm going to go with number 6, American Pharoah. But I definitely would box him in these exactas with the 7 Far Right, the 2 Mr. Z, and the 4 Made from Lucky. And Mr. Z is on his best days, shown that he could run with the best, and this is one of those spots where you wouldn't be surprised to see Lucas jump up and win it. And so I would have a lot of respect for Mr. Z, but my pick's going to be American Pharoah, the 6, in the Arkansas Derby. How about you?
I have a lot of respect for Mr. Z, but not to win. He's 1 for 11 lifetime, but 4 seconds and 3/3. So the way I would play this race is American Pharoah is the obvious favorite. He's probably going to be 2 to 5. I think Far Right has a shot. Any horse that wins the Smarty Jones in the Southwest obviously loves the track. He's run on a fast track and a sloppy track. That doesn't make any difference to him. Mike Smith rides him. I think he has an opportunity to move up off his last race, and if American Pharoah either hangs at that 99-100 buyer level or maybe regresses a little bit, I think Far Right's got a shot. So I'm going to take Far Right and American Pharoah on top in the trifecta, so that would be the 6 and the 7. And then I would key underneath there, I would use Mr. Z in the 2nd spot with All, and I would do the same thing, American Pharoah and Far Right on top with All with Mr. Z. So I think Mr. Z is probably going to get the money, but he's probably not going to win it. So I think that's the way I would play this race. But American Pharoah maybe it's his coronation, and he would be one of 4 favorites for the Kentucky Derby if he runs as well as he can. So it's going to be a nice race to watch.
Been a very formful prep season, mostly favorites or second choices winning all of the Derby preps. So we'll see if that trend continues with American Pharoah in the Arkansas Derby. Don't forget to check out our other podcast for Saturday on the Keeneland Stakes card. On Saturday, 4 stakes at Keeneland, and we take a look at those, plus give you a late pick 4, as we do throughout the spring meet in our podcasts here at KeenelandSelect.com.